Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing today? Happy Monday, and thank you so much for joining me on this little video. Today, I'm going to be telling you how you can find your sweet spot in your practice. But before I do that, please do give me a little thumbs up if you're watching, or a little heart if you are enjoying this. And if you know of any friends who might like this, then please do share it with them, or just share it generally for people to have a little watch. So, what is your sweet spot? This was coined by Daniel Coyle, and I highly recommend checking out his book, Little Book of Talent. If you don't already know that one, there's a ton of fantastic habit and practice tips in there for really setting yourself up for success. But he talks about the sweet spot as that point just beyond your comfort zone. So if you could imagine, if you're doing your practice, whether it's a dance practice or whether it's a movement practice, something like strength and flexibility, it's that kind of frustrating feeling when you are just about able to do it, and maybe you're successful like 50 to 80% of the time. So we're just beyond your comfort zone. It's not easy. You're really having to use a lot of mental effort to get it right. If you're doing your movement practice, you're really having to focus to make sure that you're moving your body safely and you're doing the movement with good form, that kind of thing. So if you feel like you are not progressing in your dance or in your moving practice, you're not getting stronger or more flexible, whatever it is that you're looking to achieve, perhaps you are just working in your comfort zone. So you're doing what you're used to doing, so your brain is almost kind of switched off. It kind of knows the pathways it has to follow to do the thing, so it can turn its attention elsewhere, and then you're not learning, so we're not developing and improving. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips now to help you get into that sweet spot if you are dancing or doing your movement practice. So the first one is to slow it down. So slowing it down, if you are doing a strength practice, flexibility, something like that, creates more time under tension. So that's going to require more strength in order to do it, and that's going to increase the load and you're going to get stronger. If you're doing your dance practice, slowing it down can really give you the opportunity to iron out those kinks. Sometimes when we're going along at a nice dynamic pace, we don't notice when we're making tiny mistakes, and we're actually reinforcing those mistakes. So if we slow it down and take it back a little bit, then we can really start to iron out those kinks and really start to improve things. So the second tip is the complete opposite of that. Speed it up. If you're doing your dance practice, you can use a metronome, perhaps to time yourself. Might be a little bit boring. Perhaps you maybe want a couple of different songs that are different speeds, and then you can see your progression as you keep using the same time with your metronome or the same song as to how easier it gets. Can you progress to a faster song, for example? And if you're doing a movement practice, then you can turn a strength flexibility practice into a cardio practice by speeding it up. Always make sure you're keeping good form and not going so fast that you're moving out of alignment or anything like that. But it can be a fun challenge if you're to turn some strength exercises into some cardio exercises instead and create a different challenge for your body. Another way to try and get into that sweet spot is to increase complexity of the movement. So for your dance practice, for example, if you're doing some hip practice, why don't you add some arm practice on top of that, and really maybe trying to work on staccato hips and smooth arm undulations, something along those lines. Within your movement practice, it's the same principle. You can combine upper and lower body movements that you wouldn't normally do. For example, a hip bridge with some arm movements, or perhaps doing a squat with something with your arms at the same time, for example, to really mix it up, or creating combinations of movements one after the other that also challenge your brain a little bit. And then the final tip I have for you is to try challenging your balance. When you're doing your movement practice, this is a great one for your core stability. Usually when you're training, you'll be training both sides of the body equally, but a lot of the movements that we do in our daily lives are actually really asymmetrical. Most of us have a side of the body that we favor. So if you can really challenge your stability in an asymmetrical way by, standing on one leg, or, just removing a limb from whatever the movement is, that kind of thing, that can really, really help to develop your strength and balance. And same thing in your dance as well. I like to do some practices, trying to stand on one leg, trying to keep my isolations nice and clean. It can be a really good practice for those moments when you're on stage and the excitement and the adrenaline is really getting to you, and it gives you that kind of off balance feeling. The more you can kind of practice being off balance, the more it's going to train you for that. So there's 4 tips to help you find your sweet spot and create a little bit of challenge to increase your learning. Let's just quickly recap them. They are to go more slowly, they are to go faster, they are to increase the complexity, and the last one is to challenge your balance. I'm sure they are not the only 4 options, so if you have any other suggestions, please do let me know. I would love to hear of some ways that I can mix up my practice as well. So drop a comment in the box below. Do give me a little thumbs up if you enjoyed this, or a little heart, and I would love it if you would share this with your friends. And just to let you know as well, I've had a couple of spaces open up on my Strong Motion program. If you would like to join me, please do book in for your free pelvic assessment. There is a link in the comments for that, and also a link to join my mailing list if you enjoyed this and would like to be updated of some more information from me. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.